Now that registration is complete, let's move on. It's very tempting to jump into the products and sales tabs right away, but before you do that, it's highly recommended to come down to settings to finish setting up your business and learn some basics about the system. This will take a few minutes, so be patient. Under settings, there are several subheadings. In each section, there will be different settings that you can adjust. Not every setting is relevant for every business, so just adjust according to your business needs. Let's start with business settings. In this section, you are required to set some basic settings for your business. Let's go through them. It already has your business name from the registration. Here it asks for a start date. It's a bit hard to set the date by typing it. You can adjust this date by clicking into the cell and using the arrow buttons to find the year, then month and day. Over here is default profit percent. If you aim to get the same profit percentage from all your products, you can use this to set it. For example, if you set it at 50% from here, each time you are adding a product, it will calculate a 50% profit margin on the product cost to set a profitable selling price. You can always override that though, and set your own profit margin. So you can delete this and leave it blank if preferred. Currency was already set during registration. Here you can decide if you want the currency symbol, $, to go in front or behind the number. For us, it goes before the amount. Time zone was already set, but if you didn't set it, or if you need to change it, you can come back and do it here. Here you can upload your business logo if you didn't do it during registration. For transaction edit days, you can decide how long after a transaction is recorded will it still be available to be edited. Next, choose your preferred date and time formats. And in these last two fields, you set how many decimal places for currency. That should be 2. And for product quantities, we'll set that at 0. Let's move on to the product section under business settings, where there are a couple important things to set. First up is SKU prefix. Here you can decide if you want your product SKUs to have a set of characters in front of them. For example, if we set ours as ABC. Each time we add a product, the system will generate a unique number for that product starting with ABC. So set something that represents your business. Next, decide if you want to add product expiry dates to listings. This may be handy in some businesses than others. These that have been auto-selected would be necessary for almost all businesses. I'd leave them as is. For default unit, you'd set a default unit if all or most of your products use the same units. For example, if you sell mostly items measured in pounds, you'd set pounds as the default unit. Same for yards, meters, inches, etc. But most stores sell a variety of products, so you can leave it blank here. If you do set one though, you can click over here to decide if you want to enable sub-units, such as inches for feet. These you'd select only if they are definitely necessary for your type of business. Here you decide if products should have warranty as part of their listings, and click this if you want the product image to be mandatory when adding a product to the system. Under the sales section, the first option is Default Sale Discount. This is used to set a percentage discount on every item being sold. So if you put 15 in the box, each sale will automatically have a 15% discount, which you can adjust and override at checkout. So only set this if you're having a store-wide sale. Default sale tax is similar. Use it if all your products attract a set tax percentage. Sales item addition method simply refers to how you want to add duplicate items to a sale. So if a customer is checking out and you cached a watch, for example, if, while caching his other items, you see that he has another of the same watch, how would you want it to be displayed on the invoice? Would you want it to be listed 2 times? Or would you want it to be listed 1 time and increase the quantity to 2? Select your preference. Here you select if and how you want quantities to be rounded off. This may not be necessary for most, so you can leave it blank. Select this if you want the sales price of a product to be lowest it can be sold for. If you select it, you will not be able to give a customer a discount when you are doing their sale. Select this if you want to be able to sell more of a product than the amount in stock on the system. This may be necessary if you have not done a good job of adding all quantities of your products to the inventory. For example, if you received new stock but did not log them. If your business uses sales orders, check this box. Here, if you want payment terms to always be set, you can select this. For commission agents, you can enable this setting if your business pays commissions to staff or agents for sales. Then here you decide if that commission is paid based on the invoice value or the payment received. And finally, you decide if you want a commission agent to be linked to every sale by checking this box. The payment link section will be addressed in a later video. Let's move to the POS section. This may look like a lot of options, but don't be alarmed. All of this first section is just showing you some keyboard shortcuts that you can use if you're using a keyboard and mouse instead of the touchscreen terminal. Below that are some features for the point of sale. You can disable or enable any of them as needed for your business. For example, this first one, multiple pay. This refers to allowing customers to pay with 2 or more methods of payment for one order, such as part cash and part card. You can disable this if not needed. From here, you can disable discounts at checkout or enable the use of a weighing scale. Just look at each option and decide. A separate video will be done on the weighing scale setup. Purchases. The settings under the Purchases section are pretty straightforward. Firstly, do you want to be able to edit a product's price when entering a purchase? Keep this checked if yes. Next, enable Purchase Status. With this enabled, you can mark a purchase as ordered, shipped, received, etc. When disabled, every purchase will be marked as received. Enable these settings as needed. Do the products you purchase come with a lot number? If not, ignore this. Do you use purchase orders when buying for your business? If yes, enable this. Same for purchase requisitions. Payment. In this section, you can list different cash denominations, such as $50, $100, $500, etc. Then decide if you want to be able to break down cash transactions based on the different banknotes. The dashboard section has one simple question. How long do you want product expiry alerts to last for? In the System section, you can change the theme color easily. You can also decide if you want the help text to be visible. Help texts are the little hints that you get by hovering your mouse over the small blue circle with the letter I inside. For prefixes, you can decide what prefix will represent these terms. For example, I would change purchase order to PO and put PUR for purchase. Over here, I would put EXP for expenses. Now each time I list an expense, the system will put these 3 letters at the front of the expense number. Only edit what's needed in your business. Email and SMS settings will have a separate video when those features are fully functional. For the reward point settings, you can decide if your business will utilize this feature, as well as determine how points are earned, as well as how they are redeemed. In the Modules section, you can enable the settings if needed for your business. The ones that are already checked would be necessary for most businesses. Other options, such as kitchen, tables, or service staff, would be more suited for restaurants or bars. The Custom Labels section is another one that seems like a lot. But think of it as where you come to add custom fields. For example, here it says Labels for Custom Payments. You can add payment options that are not currently available on the payment screen, so you already have cash, card, etc. So you can add bank transfer, crypto, or any others that you utilize. You can also use this area to add debit and credit as a means of differentiating the types of card payments, and you can do the same for all these other areas of the software. And that's it for the business settings. Let's quickly scan through these other settings. Business locations. If your business has multiple locations or branches, you can come here to add the additional locations. Just click Add and fill out the required information, then save. Invoice settings is one that you can leave as is for now. If while using the system you see a need to tweak the appearance of the invoice, this is where you come. The printer and barcode settings will be addressed in another video.